When was the last time you took care of yourself without feeling guilty about it? And I don't mean when you went and got your nails done or got a haircut. I mean really took care of yourself. Or when was the last time you stopped and said, you know what? I need something right now. And you actually make time to do it. Don't worry, I'll wait. Because we've gotten really good at calling things self care while putting ourselves last. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome or welcome back to the Priceless Opinion. I'm Janet, and in this space, we explore thoughtful perspectives on life through storytelling, fragrance, and lived experiences. I believe that the smallest shift in perspective completely changes the way we see ourselves. Now, let's jump into today's conversation. Let's talk about self care. When you hear the word self care, what comes to mind? Spa day, vacation, shopping, going to the gym, eating better. And listen, I'm not knocking any of those things. If somebody wants to send me to a spa, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm too good for it. But I started thinking, what if self care isn't only about what we do for ourselves, but it's also about how we treat ourselves and how we show up for ourselves? I think sometimes we define self care by what we add to our lives, but I have learned self care also includes some things we don't normally put on a list. It includes things that doesn't add stuff to our lives, but continues our lives. For instance, I got a call from my doctor yesterday, actually. I have good news, Miss Price. The abnormal tissue is benign. I started yelling, thank you, thank you, thank you. All the glory is His. And I'll come back to that in a second. So stick a pin in it. But self care includes rest, not just because you completed everything, but because you just needed to lay down and take a nap. Saying no without writing a 5 paragraph explanation or giving a dissertation on why you can't do something. Asking for help and giving yourself grace is also self care. When you don't perform at 100%, it's okay. Try again next time. Going to the doctor and the dentist instead of putting off your visits and making sure everyone else attends their visits. Staying up on your health produces better outcomes. Self care isn't always making yourself feel better. Sometimes it's allowing yourself to feel what you feel without making yourself feel worse for feeling it. So let's rewind. Remember that pin that I said let's stick in there? I had a scare recently. So I'm going to be vulnerable for a second. I had a scare recently, which made me think about self-care a little differently. I wasn't taking time off from work. I was making sure everybody around me got where they needed to go, their appointments were set, and whenever it came to me, I would say, I'm good. I'll just reschedule. And I learned I'm good can become a really dangerous sentence when you use it to avoid taking care of yourself. Sometimes I would reschedule or put off an appointment. And in doing this, I put off scheduling a mammogram for 2 years. And when I recently went to get it done, they found something. I am so grateful that that something turned out to be nothing. But as I was going through it, I realized very quickly I'm good doesn't feel quite simple anymore. I realized you can't always fix what's happening. Sometimes all you can do is take care of yourself while you're going through it. and make a promise to yourself that you're going to do better about you. And so, as I was getting dressed for my biopsy, I remember wanting something that felt comforting. For anybody who's had an MRI or a biopsy, you know you can't have anybody in there with you. It's just you and the machines and the doctor. And so I wanted something that reminded me I was going to be okay. And so you already know, fragrance came to mind. I wanted something soft. I wanted something that felt almost like being held. Something that was going to remind me of a promise that I was making to myself. And I reached for Cashmere Musk by Clive Christian. It is so good. But beyond being good, what this bottle of perfume does for me, it possesses three qualities. Not just the factory notes, but actual qualities. It's soft. So the first quality is the musk that's in here on to me has this skin-like quality that can feel incredibly soft and intimate. And I thought about how rarely we give ourselves permission to be soft with ourselves. The second quality that this possesses for me is gentle. The cashmere gives me that gentle, creamy, enveloping feeling. It made me think about how we talk to ourselves and trust in ourselves. It made me remember that it's okay to be gentle and to feel all the feelings because that's what I was going through. The other quality is comforting. There is something about this scent that doesn't feel like I'm trying to prove anything. It's not screaming, so it wasn't going to choke the doctors out. But the rose and jasmine in this fragrance reminded me everything was going to be okay. And I got this. I know better, so I'm going to do better. And so I sprayed this on before my biopsy, and that is what I needed at that moment. I realized that this fragrance felt so right to me at that moment. And then I started realizing and thinking self care doesn't always need to be what others say it is. It doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to look good on social media. Self care can be quiet. Sometimes it's putting on something that makes you feel safe. It's making sure you keep your doctor's appointments and your dentist appointments. Sometimes it's saying, I'm scared, instead of pretending that you're not. Sometimes it's giving yourself the same compassion you'd give somebody else that you love. And it's showing up for yourself even before others at times. Because self care isn't just what is done when everything is going well. Self care is how I care for myself when things aren't going well. It's how I speak to myself. It's what I allow. It's what I release. It's knowing when I need rest and simply holding myself a little more gentle and holding myself accountable for me. So let me ask you something. Yes, you. What does self care look like for you when nobody else is watching? What actually makes you feel cared for? Make sure you put it down in the comments below so we can continue this conversation. Because I will tell you right now, I'm learning that self care looks like slowing down, being honest with myself about how I'm feeling, and sometimes getting a mani pedi is self care as well. But definitely making sure all of my appointments are made while having my comfort, in this case, Cashmere Musk by Clive Christian, right by my side. If this conversation gave you something to think about, I'd love for you to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and share this with someone who might need to hear it. And until next time, stay priceless. Bye.